Halloween is more than just costumes and candy. It's a night where eerie stories come to life. Across the world, different cultures have passed down terrifying legends, each with their own way of making your skin crawl. In North America, there's the chilling tale of the Headless Horseman, while in Ireland, the strange story of Stingy Jack and the jack-o'-lantern haunts the night. From Mexico's wailing ghost, La Llorona, to Scotland's ancient Samhain spirits, these myths give us a glimpse into the darker side of the supernatural. Let's dive into these spine-chilling tales that continue to terrify generations. The legend of La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman, is one of the most haunting and heartbreaking tales from Mexican folklore. It tells the tragic story of a woman named Maria, whose life took a dark turn that continues to send chills down the spines of those who hear her tale. Maria was known for her stunning beauty and captivating charm. She lived in a small village, and one day, she caught the eye of a wealthy nobleman passing through. He was immediately smitten with her, and soon they were married, despite their different social statuses. The couple had 2 children, and for a while, they seemed to be the perfect family. But as time passed, Maria's husband grew distant. He started spending more time away from home, eventually falling in love with another woman of his own class. Heartbroken and overcome with jealousy, Maria's despair grew into something darker. One evening, while walking by the river with her 2 children, she was struck with a fit of rage. In her anguish and fury, she did the unthinkable. She pushed her children into the rushing river. The current quickly swept them away as they screamed for help. The moment their cries faded, Maria realized the horror of what she had done. She ran along the riverbank, crying and wailing, desperate to save them, but it was too late. Devastated by her actions, Maria spent the rest of her days wandering by the river, weeping uncontrollably and searching for her lost children. Eventually, she succumbed to her grief and died. But that wasn't the end of her story. Legend has it that Maria's spirit could not rest. She became La Llorona, the ghostly figure dressed in white, wandering along rivers and lakes, weeping for her lost children. Her cries of mis hijos, oh my children, echo through the night, sending shivers down the spines of anyone who hears them. It's said that La Llorona now roams the earth in eternal sorrow, searching for her children. And sometimes she mistakes living children for her own and takes them away. Parents in Mexico warn their children to stay away from rivers at night, for fear that La Llorona might come for them too. Samhain, pronounced Samhain, is an ancient Celtic festival with roots in Scotland, marking the end of the harvest and the beginning of winter, a time when the boundary between the world of the living and the dead becomes dangerously thin. The festival dates back thousands of years, and with it comes one of Scotland's eeriest beliefs. On Samhain night, the spirits of the dead rise and walk among the living. The ancient Celts believed that during Samhain, the veil separating the 2 worlds was lifted, allowing the spirits of the dead to cross over. Some of these spirits were friendly, visiting their families and homes. However, not all who returned were benevolent. There were the slúg, restless spirits who had been rejected by both heaven and hell. These vengeful souls roamed the night, searching for unsuspecting victims to drag into the afterlife. During Samhain, people were careful to avoid the slúg and other dark spirits by staying inside after sunset, locking their doors, and extinguishing any fires or lights. The darkness was meant to make their homes invisible to the spirits. But for those who had to venture out, disguises were often worn. People would dress in animal skins and terrifying masks to confuse the spirits, blending in with the otherworldly creatures roaming the land. This ancient practice is believed to be the origin of modern Halloween costumes. Bonfires were lit on hilltops to ward off evil spirits, and offerings of food were left outside homes to appease the wandering dead. In some villages, people would carve faces into turnips to scare away malevolent spirits, an early precursor to the jack-o'-lanterns we know today. These carved turnips were placed by doorways and windows, casting a protective light in the darkness. One particularly haunting belief tied to Samhain was that of the Cailleach, a fearsome old hag who was said to control the seasons. On Samhain night, she would appear, bringing with her the harsh winter. The Cailleach was often associated with death and decay, her arrival signaling the death of the land as the cold settled in. Farmers would perform rituals to honor her and pray for a swift winter, lest she punish them with a longer, crueler season. Samhain was a night of reverence, fear, and superstition. It marked a time when the living had to tread carefully, knowing that the spirits walking beside them may not always have peaceful intentions. Even today, the echoes of Samhain remain alive in Halloween, where the memory of the unquiet dead still lingers in the shadows. In Japan, the belief in yurei, ghosts of vengeful spirits, has deep roots in the country's folklore and culture. These spectral beings are said to be souls who died under tragic or violent circumstances, leaving them unable to pass peacefully into the afterlife. The yurei are often driven by rage, sorrow, or unfinished business, and they wander the earth in search of justice or revenge. The appearance of a yurei is as unsettling as their presence. They are typically portrayed as pale, almost translucent figures, with long, unkempt black hair that drapes over their faces. They wear white burial kimonos, the traditional attire for those who have died. Their arms hang lifelessly at their sides, and they often appear floating, their legs invisible or trailing off into nothingness. This eerie, otherworldly form only adds to their terrifying reputation. One of the most famous yurei stories is that of Oiwa, a woman betrayed by her husband in life and who returned in death to seek vengeance. According to the legend, Oiwa was a beautiful young woman married to a man named Eamon. Over time, Eamon grew tired of Oiwa and conspired to get rid of her so he could marry another woman. He poisoned Oiwa, but the poison didn't kill her right away. Instead, it disfigured her face horribly, leaving her in agonizing pain. When Oiwa discovered what her husband had done, she died in grief and rage. But her story didn't end there. Oiwa's vengeful spirit returned to haunt Eamon. She appeared to him in his dreams, her ghostly face twisted in agony, her one remaining eye glaring at him with burning hatred. No matter where Eamon went, Oiwa followed. She would appear in mirrors, in shadows, and even in the faces of others, always reminding Eamon of his betrayal. Her relentless torment eventually drove him to madness, leading to his downfall and death. Even today, Oiwa's tale is considered so cursed that actors and filmmakers working on adaptations of her story will visit her grave to ask for her blessing, fearing bad luck if they don't. In Japanese culture, yurei represent more than just scary ghosts. They embody the pain, anger, and injustice that linger after death. These spirits serve as a reminder that mistreatment in life may lead to consequences from beyond the grave. Even now, the stories of yurei continue to haunt the imagination, ensuring that the restless dead never truly fade away. The aswang is one of the most terrifying creatures in Filipino folklore, a shape-shifting monster that has haunted the islands for centuries. Known for its ability to transform from a human into a variety of terrifying creatures, most commonly a dog, pig, or bat. The aswang is feared for its insatiable hunger for human flesh, especially that of unborn children. The legends surrounding this creature vary across the Philippines, but they all paint a horrifying picture of an evil being that preys on the most vulnerable. By day, the aswang blends in with society, appearing as a normal person, often quiet and unassuming. It might be a shy neighbor, a vendor at the local market, or even a family member. However, as night falls, the creature reveals its true monstrous form. Its transformation is both grotesque and terrifying, with limbs elongating, eyes glowing red, and its body turning into a grotesque, otherworldly version of itself. One of the most chilling forms of the aswang is the manananggal, a type of aswang that detaches its upper body from its lower half, growing bat-like wings to fly through the night in search of its next meal. The aswang is especially feared for its predatory focus on pregnant women. According to legend, it has the ability to sniff out the scent of an unborn child from miles away. Under the cover of darkness, the aswang creeps silently to the home of its victim. Perched on the roof, it lowers its long, snake-like tongue through the cracks in the thatched roof or through an open window, slipping the tongue into the womb to devour the fetus. The horror of waking up to find a woman suddenly sick or lifeless, with no explanation, is attributed to the night visit of an aswang. To protect against the aswang, people in the Philippines place salt, garlic, or holy objects around their homes, believing these items can ward off the creature. Villagers also keep an eye out for anyone acting suspiciously, especially those who seem to avoid social interactions or have an unusual aversion to sunlight. Dogs, known for their ability to sense the supernatural, are often kept as protectors, barking frantically at the presence of an aswang. Despite the many ways to fend off the creature, the legend of the aswang remains a source of fear, especially in rural areas. Stories of sightings and encounters still circulate, reminding people that the aswang could be lurking, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the next night to strike.